Sit down. Get out. You're not welcome here. You don't want these people here. You're not welcome. You want me to make you be okay and comfortable in this one? Who the hell are you?
I'm proud of this man. This man here's some people.
You guys call the cops. Thank you, sir. You don't like the fire service that I keep. You don't like veterans. Why are you disrespecting the restaurant within that house? That doesn't make any damn sense. No, right now. This is crazy right here. This is some
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the following program. I'm your host, Joe Newman, aka Good Lawgic. I hope your day has been going well. Mine, thank God, has been pretty spectacular. I am still on vacation. Today, the family and I went out. We did a little soccer golf. You heard that correctly. That's right. Or as the Europeans would say, football golf, I guess. I don't know. But you got like a little soccer ball, and then you got these holes that are far away. And yeah, whole family. It was a nice little get together that we all had there. And yeah, I hope that if you're on vacation now, or you have an upcoming vacation, the Easter holiday, that it goes as swimmingly as, thank God, mine has been going so far. I do want to let you all know. That if you check the Chiron on the bottom there, you also can check your pinned. It should be pinned everywhere. Is it pinned everywhere? Yeah, it is. It's pinned everywhere. I am having a locals after show party during which I will be breaking down the Fourth Circuit's insane, bizarro decision today on the Kilmar Abrego Garcia case that just won't die. It just won't die. Oh my God, the left is so dedicated to it, saving this MS-13 hands-on guy. This guy. It's not like pineapple on pizza. You get a soccer ball, you kick it, and you kick it again, and then you kick it closer to the hole in the ground that's the size of a basketball hoop. It's really not that. It's not that complicated. I'm surprised it hasn't taken off yet. It actually was a lot of fun. Yeah, there's so much pinning. Anyway, so that's going to be after I wrap up here. My estimated time is going to be 12:15 a.m. on the East Coast. That's my estimated time as to when I should be able to wrap up here and get on over there. I urge you to join me because, oh my God, you're going to see me just losing my mind. And it's a little bit of a complicated issue, but I urge you all to check that out. That's going to be on locals at goodlawgic.locals.com. And as I said, that is pinned in the description. It's in the top of your chats. You almost, it's like you have, if you're trying to avoid it, it's like hard. It's hard to, I made it as difficult as possible to avoid. You almost, if you click any button on your screen right now, you probably end up there. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Don't do that just yet. No, not just yet. But anyhow, tonight I got a really big show for you. I got a whole bunch of issues that I want to cover with you. First, I plan on breaking down for you this little war that seems to have brewed up between a very demonic and angry Joe Biden. All fired up Biden. Oh my God. And our president, Donald John Trump, and how he lashed back as only President Trump could, as only he could. So we're going to be watching some clips of Biden freaking out like a kind of freakazoid and looking really, really like revved up. They got his meds into like the manic zone, where he's an angry old man. That's one angry old man. So that happened yesterday. Today Trump responded. So we're going to give you both parts of that. Both parts of that. Also, what I don't have really highlighted as much in the whole announcement about the show, I do plan on spending a little bit of time talking to you about Carmelo Anthony's family and how they're such big victims. They're such victims. And the outrageous behavior they displayed in a press conference today, which is just astonishing. It's mind-blowing. It's like, learn from Rachel Zegler. You know? There are life lessons to be learned from Rachel Zegler. How to not be Rachel Zegler. You know, just there's a lot of life lessons you can learn there. Trust me, there's a lot. But we're gonna look at what happened there. Also, I plan on covering for you today. What else did I have? I got so much. I was thinking about talking about Gavin Newsom and his stupid lawsuit against about tariffs. Maybe we'll talk about that. Maybe we won't. We'll see. We have to see. But I definitely want to talk to you about Ukraine and how things are sort of firing up over there. And finally, this is a hot topic I want to talk to you. I might bring this earlier in the show. I want to hear from you. You're going to see what King Charles did with respect to his Easter messaging and claims that he was rather disrespectful to Christianity. And I want to have a discussion with you. Kind of a little bit of a humanities type of questions. Humanities about current events. So it's like right in the sweet spot of what I really enjoy talking about. We'll see how we handle that. But I definitely want to hear from you, your thoughts on that, because I'm not a Christian, as most of you are aware. And so that's why I'm wondering how you all feel, those of you who are Christian, how you feel about his comments. Do you think that it was disparaging Christianity in one way or another? So we'll talk about that. Well, that's basically the program. So let's get it all jump started with our very, very angry Joe Biden. He mad. This boy mad. He mad about Social Security. He mad. You would think that he's the beneficiary. I mean, I know he's really old and he's retired, but you think that it's his Social Security that's going on here. Why does he have any relevance anymore? Is not his career over? I don't know, but apparently he was a speaker and he had a lot to say. Look at that, those angry eyes. Those angry eyes. Oh, when he gets like these black eyes. If you ever saw the show Supernatural, you know how the demons don't have any of the iris, right? The coloring in the eye is just black. That's what you see in his eyes. It's like this demonic type of sickness where he goes on his full rage, and he unloaded yesterday. He all mad about how his legacy is basically being tarnished. Well, not really tarnished, but I guess exposed. It's not really tarnishing. It's just held under a light and being told, "Wow, you suck. You were really bad. You were really a disaster." He's not liking that. And he had some choice words. Let's hear from him.
Need advocates like you. You're the one.
Whoa, I was listening in double speed. But if I try playing it for you guys in double speed, apparently some of you all aren't big fans of having everyone's voices turn into Mickey Mouse. So we're gonna play this in normal speed, playback speed. We're gonna do this in normal. Maybe a little faster. Can I do it a little faster? Just because I don't want to give him too much airtime. Well, why would I give this angry old retired man so much airtime? We'll see how this goes. We'll try one and a quarter.
You keep it going, God love you. You fight like hell every single day to make sure the law is respected and your clients' rights are protected. So from the bottom of my heart, I mean this. I give you my word as a Biden. From the bottom of my heart, I say,
that's too fast. I think it's a little too fast. So we're going to go regular speed.
Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing.
Well, shut up.
Thank you for your commitment
This is him
to the
trying to
dignity
raise
of
money.
all Americans. Because that's what all of this is about. Folks, today I want to talk to you about an issue that's front and center right now for millions of Americans. Social Security. You know, some of you may know the Democrats have declared today the Save Social Security National Action Day. National Day of
Because that's in danger. It's really in danger.
Action.
This is like they gaslight you that it's in jeopardy, and so they can claim that they're heroic for it not dying. This is like gaslighting you about how they've saved the earth because of their climate measures. They're the ones. The earth was supposed to. Scientists, 97% of all scientists thought that the earth was going to be spinning into this great hurtling ball of fire and tilt off its axis. And General Zod was going to come down here with that other guy, Ming, or whoever it is, and they were basically going to come in here as the planet was some fireball and turn it into their own little palatial hideaway with their own personal fortresses of solitude. That would have happened in 2004, but for the climate measures that have been implemented. And then it would have happened again in 2012. Thank God that Obama and the green activists all saved the world. That's what they and now, and we got to keep doing more. We got to keep doing more. And that's essentially what the leftist strategy is. We're gonna gaslight you about how dire certain circumstance is and tell you how we're here to save the day. And then when the situation doesn't end up panning out and everything doesn't end up exploding, it's like, well, look at us, we saved the day. We saved the day. This is like me telling you, you really should be thanking me and sending me money because I saved your house from burning down. I did. I came to your house. There was a fire that was about to catch, and I stepped on it, and it was going to take over and turn your whole abode into this fiery furnace. I saved you. I saved your kids' lives. At the very least, you could, become members. How do you not? This is what they do. The National Save Social Security Day, because, oh my God, it's under threat. It's under attack. From who? No one knows. Nobody knows, but it's under attack. We're going to save it. And in 4 years now, when it's exactly the same as it was, only more streamlined and actually not as much of a ridiculous invitation for fraudsters the way it has been under this jackass's regime. In that case, they're going to be like, we managed to stop Donald Trump from destroying Social Security. Clowns. Useless clowns. Self-promotional fools.
We know just how much Social Security matters to people's lives.
No, let's
everyone in this room.
No, let's talk. Let's bring out the
fights for
sad
people with
music.
disabilities who rely on Social Security to survive. Not just the physical side, it's the mental side. You make sure folks get the benefits they earn after a lifetime of hard work. The work they do is more than just a profession, what you do. It's a calling. It's not just a profession. And Social Security
There's not going to be a lot of
program.
Biden. Relax.
It's a sacred promise. We made it a sacred promise. 73 million Americans receive Social Security. Right. From their first paycheck to their entire life, they pay into Social Security. In return, they count on Social Security to be for them when they're going to need it. Folks must never, ever betray that trust or turn our backs on that obligation. That's why during my presidency, we protected Social Security and made it stronger.
Yeah, you made it much stronger.
Martin, the governor can tell you.
Yeah, okay.
Our administration secured nearly $2 billion to reduce the backlogs and improve customer service. We slashed wait time.
It's something that probably could have been done for a couple of thousand
times for folks in need. We're calling the 1-800 number. We got it down to under 13 minutes. It used to be 3 times that long we took office.
You're a real hero.
Made it easier for people to get help with their claims online.
Oh, not in a cave like where all your retirement records are?
How long it takes to review a case. We fixed the appeal system to make it uniform in all 50 states, which made a difference.
Yeah, okay.
We strengthened the... But as a result, because we strengthened the anti-fraud measures to protect 50 states, which made a difference.
We got to hear is one joke.
We strengthened the anti-fraud measures to protect people's identities and to make sure benefits are going to people who actually they belong to. By the way, those 300-year-old folk getting that Social Security, I want to meet them because I like to figure out how they live out.
I assumed it was you. Yeah, how are you laughing about this? This is what a mess your stupid Social Security is. The audacity of this schmuck to try and make some sort of joke about the fact that there was someone who's 300 years old on Social Security. They don't deny it. They don't say it didn't happen. I'll make a joke about it. You're the one who did this. You're the one whose ineptitude allowed this type of fraud. You're the guy.
Hell of a thing, man. I'm looking for longevity. because it's hell when you turn 40 years old. But as a result, by the time we left office,
By the time we left office, there were 2 million people on Social Security who weren't supposed to be there. By the time you left office, ass. You're a complete ass. You were so bad at your job. Let's jump forward a little bit here. It was around 20 minutes or so. I'm only going to play like another 3 minutes of this clown.
They may not rely on themselves, but they know.
Oh, well, this is
stronger. And it had, but understood how much it would mean to millions of Americans. He knew it would make America stronger in the process. And it has. It makes our economy stronger. It makes the community stronger. Now. It makes families stronger.
I had to sit through
this.
Peace
of mind.
I had to sit through this idiocy.
That's why the vast majority of Americans, including many wealthy Americans, still support, thank God, Social Security. And very wealthy billionaires still support Social Security. They may not rely on themselves, but they know. They know. Social Security deserves to be protected for the good of the nation as a whole.
No one says otherwise.
You got to ask yourself.
He also went on.
These guys taking aim at Social Security now. Well, they're following that old line from tech startups. The quote is, move fast, break things.
No.
Well, they're certainly breaking things.
Oh, that's.
They're shooting first and aiming later. And as a result, the result is a lot of needless pain and sleepless nights. My friend Governor O'Malley knows what they're really up to. He says, and I love his quote, they want to wreck it so they can rob it.
Such utter lies. You were allowing so much fraud. You are such a jerk. You are such a jerk. You are scum of the earth. Such utter scum. Anyway, that's enough from him. He also made a comment about how billionaires are paying 8% taxes because the way and how they come up with that number, because basically they count their capital gains as income, their unrealized capital gains as income, and they say, oh, well, they have all this capital gains and we haven't taxed them on it, and therefore that's income that they had, and we count that part of their earnings. In that case, they're only paying 8% of their total earnings. It's the most asinine thing in the world, because if we ever started taxing that, if we ever started taxing capital gains, you know what would happen? This country would shut down in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes. So they do their stupid, clever calculations as how do they come up with how billionaires are paying so little in paying for their income taxes, and accordingly are going to be, they know they'll be able to rail on this forever because they use their backward, stupid, ridiculous accounting of counting capital gains. The reason that this world would shut down, the reason America would shut down, that because they want ultimately America to collapse. I'm convinced of it, because either they feel like, oh, Republicans never let us do it because they're just not going to let us destroy the country, or they genuinely want to destroy the country. Because anyone, if you think about it for 10 seconds, if you have a business and you have money invested in various ways of developing your business, and you make money and you start reinvesting that money and using that towards developing, and you have to start pulling money out of your stocks. You have to start pulling money out of there in order to pay your tax bill. You're basically shutting down, then crippling these companies, where they're going to have to start borrowing money like crazy to pay a stupid tax bill. It's the most asinine thing in the world. It is bad in so many different ways, how it would be so crippling to America as far as hindering our ability to remain the most innovative country on the planet. Because you couldn't afford to do it, because you got to stop paying taxes, got to stop paying these unrealized gains taxes. Where's that money coming from? You got to sell out your stocks? You going to sell out everything? What would that do to the stock market every April? It's unbelievable. It's so stupid. God, and they know it. They know it's stupid. President Cracker needs to go back to the bunker. Yeah, he's a disaster. Anyway, so Trump shot back at him. Oh, thank you for saving my family, Joe. You're so welcome. And you see, this is a proper way of expressing gratitude. He sent a $5 super chat, and it's his way of saying thank you for saving my family. I did. Trust. If yesterday was fires. 2 weeks ago was Joe saving you from carbon monoxide poisoning week. I went all around the country, and I can't even tell you how many of you who are watching right now, I saved your lives from carbon monoxide poisoning. I did. It's the silent killer. It's a silent killer. Too many of you don't have fresh batteries in your carbon monoxide detectors. It's true. It's true. And I saved you. You're welcome. You're welcome. A little gratitude. Yeah. That's the Democrat way. Just pretend that there's some sort of calamity that's befalling the entire world when no such calamity is happening. And I saved you from it because I screamed about it and did nothing remotely productive. But I'll tell you I did. Bella Stella gifting 10. 10. Good Lawgic member. See, this is important. More people need to become part of the following. A lot more people need to become part of the following because honestly, I see the lack of personal development that some have. And the following, which is not at all a type of cult, is just about greater personal growth through community, unity, learning, and thinking. Community, unity, and learning and thinking. Not at all a cult type of cult. And I am very much not at all the leader of the following. It's just like-minded individuals. And who needs more personal growth? Eclectic Deb. Welcome to the following. That's right, Eclectic. Yeah, Bella finally hit you. I hope you expressed your gratitude to her. In fact, each and every one of you should be expressing your gratitude to her for basically giving you the gift of life. The gift of life. Because if she hadn't done this for you, you may have died. Thank you, Bella Stella. You can say thank you at least. Who else came in here? We got BW, Swamp Bear X, Sue Sebal, Burrow, Rude Dog, Jackie Kennedy, K Shiloh Williams, Will Call Magic. There we go. You see, Will Call, he's here like almost every night. And I happen to be, he is active in the chat. I don't call his name out often enough, but he's there. He's delivering and contributing to the conversation here. Thank you. And I'm going to call you out. I appreciate you being here on such a regular basis, Will Call Magic. I will. I'm calling you out. I'm very pleased that you happen to be one who was blessed. And finally, Sherry Lou Who. Welcome to the following. Pretty much the greatest gift you could have ever asked for. So if you could express your gratitude to Bella Stella for that, I would be obliged. Also, Brian Ogden gifting 5. Let's get these memberships taken care of, so everyone knows in case they missed it. They know to express their gratitude because that's what we do. Who do we get? You brought in Fletcher Boy. Look at that, Fletcher Boy. You see, Fletcher Boy paid his dues early on, and sure enough, gifted a membership courtesy of Brian Ogden, as well as Diane Tsunami. Diane's also she's an OG. 5.56 Tsunami, KZ Gypsy Muse, and Judge Maddie. Look at all these OGs getting gifted memberships tonight. Well done indeed. God bless you, Brian. Thank you so very, very much. You're awesome. The only kernel of truth that Biden knows was Corn Pop. Yeah, Corn Pop. I see what you did there. Thank you for getting cats out of the trees, Joe. That's another thing I do. It's a very busy life being Good Lawgic. I'm not going to kid you. It really is. Side note, Biden likely is ineligible for Social Security. He has only ever worked for government and feds hired before 1985. We're not eligible for Social Security unless they gave up the good pension to get it. Not worth it. Interesting. That is an interesting note. Let's hear what Donald Trump had to say about Mr. Joseph Biden. Mr. Do Nothing all day, Joseph Biden, which really is not very different from his term as president.
better passage up. So prices haven't gone up. The only thing that's gone up actually is interest rates, because we have a Federal Reserve Chairman that is playing politics. Somebody that I've never been very fond of, actually, but he's playing politics. Interest rates should be down now. They should be coming down. In Europe, as you know, they reduced them, I guess 7 times. It looks like they're going to reduce them again and again and again. But our guy wants to play cute. But interest rates are pretty much even. Maybe they went up just a slight bit, but that's the only thing. But that's because of the Federal Reserve. Because they're not very smart people.
Do you regret nominating him? Do you regret nominating him, President? Do you regret nominating him, Jerome Powell?
Look, in the first 4 years, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. Stock market went up 88 points. I think he's terrible, but I can't complain because we had the most successful administration economically in the history of our country. I think we're going to do even better this time because you will see that the numbers that we're taking in are astronomical. We're taking in tremendous amounts of money with the tariffs. We were treated very unfairly on trade. And countries are having a hard time getting used to the fact that they can't do that to us anymore because we have a real president. We have a president that understands what it's all about. We had presidents that in some cases were smart, but they didn't understand business or they didn't like business or, it wasn't like a priority. And then you had like the last administration, the only thing they were good at was cheating in elections. That's about all they could do. They couldn't do anything. They were useless. They were incompetent. Worst administration in the history of our country. Worse than Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter died a happy man. You know why? Because he wasn't the worst president. Joe Biden was. So I think you're going to see some fantastic numbers when this all happens. It's happening now. I mean, everybody wants to make a deal. And if they don't want to make a deal, we'll make the deal for them.
Oh, my God. He died a happy man because he was no longer the worst president. He was replaced by Joe Biden. The left is so ticked off about that statement. So ticked off. Like, how do you... Jimmy Carter died a happy man because he was no longer the worst president. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Wait, and I'll tell you something. Early during the Biden administration, every time someone would be like, telling me how he's the worst president in American history, I'd be listening to them and I'd be like, look, he's really terrible. I don't think you know how bad Carter was. I don't think you're understanding just how bad Carter was. And then we had Afghanistan, and I'm like, it's kind of neck and neck here. It's kind of neck and neck. And then what he did with Ukraine and kicking out all our money and the government suppression, Trump is right. Trump is right. And then allowing the legal aliens. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Where he purposefully allowed in 10, 15, 20 million illegal aliens, completely abdicating his responsibility to guard our southern border and our northern border. I mean, Carter was inept. He was not a stupid person, but he was inept in the role of being a president. Utterly inept. I mean, trust me, whatever bad things you think you know about Carter, he was worse. He was worse than whatever you think. And yet somehow Biden managed to outdo him just because he was trying to be bad. Carter was trying to be good at the job and just had no skill for it. He was just terrible, awful, bizarrely just embarrassing, destroying our economy. And even he had something good on his ledger, the Camp David Accords. That was something. That was something that he managed to accomplish in the March of 1979. That was an accomplishment. It was, and it worked. So it ended up leading to Anwar Sadat's assassination. But if we're all for peace in the region, I guess that's an accomplishment. Tell me what accomplishment Joe Biden has, because I struggle with that every time people say the Jobs Act, as if that's a primary focus. That's a primary duty of the president. That's all over the Constitution. Pass the Jobs Act. That's the role of the executive branch. passed the Jobs Act, which I don't even know what he did to pass the Jobs Act other than sign his name on it. And it's not a good act. It was a terrible act. The Inflation Reduction Act, which was just basically make inflation way worse. Everything about the Biden administration was either completely inept and incompetent or willfully terrible, purposefully, intentionally destructive to our nation, while edging and creeping ever closer towards fascistic tendencies. He was not a fascist. I will never, ever say that Joe Biden was a fascist, because those terms should be reserved for people who really are fascists. I don't like cheapening terms the way the left loves to do. But having fascistic leanings of basically embracing tyranny of anyone he disliked, and even pretty much calling out half of America as being the enemy. I mean, this was the great unifier, was the most divisive president imaginable. With respect to his being divisive, frankly, I think Obama takes the cake on that. But he was so much worse than Obama in so many other ways that he really was the worst. And I think he's right. I think Carter died a happy man, seeing with the utter collapse that was stewarded by the Biden administration. Look at that use of the word stewarded. I think I like that. I think I like how I rolled that one out. Just popped in there. All right. So that's all I'm going to get. That's all I'm going to give you on Biden and Trump, because we have deadlines that I have to get to. I have a locals after show that I've got to get to. So I'm not. That's all I'm going to give you on that. And I really do want to spend more time than you probably are anticipating talking about what King Charles did. I want to spend more time on that because I think it's a really interesting topic. I'm definitely going to want your feedback on that, because I don't know. I mean, I see what people are saying, and some of you might be able to convince me. But I'm really kind of struggling. I mean, it took me a second to even figure out why people were upset. But then I thought about it more. I was like, okay, I think I see that. But is it really? Well, we're getting there very soon. Darkborn gifting 5 good law. Look at that. 5 new members of the following. 5. Who did you bring in here, Darkborn? Let's check that out. Let's do a quick little roll call. Who came in here, courtesy of Darkborn? Who'd you bring us? Darkborn brought in here. He brought in here. There it is. Raw set. Paulie D. Look at that. My chief critic. Now a member of the following. What are we supposed to do with that? I forgot to put a goal up. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. I didn't put a goal up. I should put a goal up. Let's do that real quick. We'll say, and then we're gonna say, I know I didn't deliver yesterday. I still owe you that. We'll do it if within 2 hours. In that case, we'll celebrate by half of local. I'll have full half of local shows. Half hour free on locals after show. We'll do it that way. Give people a little bit more time. That's a good way of doing it. And we'll see. We'll see if we hit it. I just started the goal now. I just started it. We'll see what happens. Let me do a quick. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything over here. I did. I gotta check the ghetto. Veds NP said, Joe, did you see Senator Van Hollen posted a picture on X of him and Kilmar having margaritas together? Bukele roasted him. That's gonna be the locals after show. Everything Kilmar related is gonna be the locals after show. Urge you to check that out. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. Cars and Death. Tomorrow's 250th anniversary of Paul Revere's ride, and Friday is the date of Battle of Lexington and Concord. Celebrate freedom, fellow patriots. 250th anniversary. Wow. That's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty big deal. Yeah, that is. Wait, what day was that? Is it tonight? Is it like, you mean like an hour and a half from now? That's pretty cool. Biden the father of the 94 crime bill. It's terrible for the last 30 years. Terrible. Everything about him. Friendly reminder, please give your thoughts about the Mahendra Patel Walmart video. It was not a family dispute case. Ashley Merchant is his attorney. Interesting. Oh, you're doing more to whet my appetite. I've weighed in on Ashley Merchant before. I think that she is dogmatic in ways that few attorneys are. Just a pit bull when she gets in on something. Biden's red speech was most decisive. I think you meant to type divisive. It was incredibly divisive. And still, Obama was worse. Obama was worse because he was insidious in the way he planted his divisiveness. He was the most divisive human. I think Barack Obama destroyed America. I do. I credit him with destroying America. I think he was the most divisive, and because he was so insidious of planting seeds in subtle ways that his followers would basically look at anyone who voted Republican as being evil and being deplorables. He laid the groundwork for that everyone on the other side of the aisle is deplorables, which is why Hillary Clinton expected that she would gain great acceptance in her own crowd by referring to us as a basket of deplorables. So she basically labeled all populists as basket of deplorables. You know, the racists, the rednecks, whatever it is that she was referring there. And that was all because 8 years earlier, no one would have thought to say such a thing. No politician would have said such a thing. But to her, she expected it to gain great acceptance because she knew her audience that she was speaking to all thought along the same lines. Why would you think that when 8 years earlier, no one thought that way? No one thought that way about other Americans, that there are millions of racists out there. No one thought that. It was all seedlings that were planted into the fertile minds of the left and a very receptive audience, receptive to anything that the messianic figure of Barack Obama, his messianic imagery that he held in the captive audiences who would hang on his every word and read into his messaging as if it was the Gospels, and sitting there trying to basically when he would just imply that it was rich people who were all to blame, it's white people who are all to blame, it's people who don't really like illegal aliens because they're a little bit, they don't look like you and me, or that if you're not voting for him, it's because he's not white. He doesn't look like the people on money. And, chanting, you didn't build that. Hey, you didn't build that. You didn't build that. Basically trying to create class warfare. He was the most divisive, but he wouldn't say they're bad people. He'd be like, hey, you didn't build that. Hey, you didn't build that, which basically started making people angry at the wealthy and made it in vogue for a stupid bartender to later wear a dress saying, tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich. It's not the first time that the left embraced that perspective, but he was incredibly divisive and made them think that everyone on the other side of the aisle is only on that side of the aisle because they are genuinely evil people. So, yeah, he can take credit for destroying the fabric of America forever. Jenna gifted 10. Look at people raining down new members. Jenna, God bless you. God bless you. Let's see who Jenna brought in here. I got to do a quick checkup and see who she brought in here. I'm catching them early. Following 10 people were gifted memberships into the following, courtesy of Jenna. Jenna, bring them on down here. Juju Queen, Tsunami Tommy. Another tsunami? We have 2 tsunamis in here? Unbelievable. Wow. Jobu, Joshua Nofsky, Mike Ladd, Richard Wharton, Seagull Gunner, Steve C., David Nola, and BJ Skulls, all of them now members of the following, which is not at all a cult type of cult. There's no Kool-Aid, no spaceships, no tracksuits that are mandatory, only highly recommended, no goat sacrifices, squirrel mutilations, no dancing around bonfires to the beat of a tom-tom while shucking off your clothing and singing, ayo, 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 ayo. None of that. No throwing virgins into volcanoes. It's not at all a cult type of cult. It's just about greater personal growth. And how dare anyone think that I am the leader, because I'm very much not. Not at all the leader of the following. I'm just a host. I'm a host. So I hope each of you will express your gratitude to Jenna for gifting you with that amazing gift of membership in the following. The leader of the Lexington Militia was a Parker. Was he really? Look at that. Look at you, son of the revolution. K. Shiloh. Recently gifted membership, K. Shiloh. I saw that. I see you think I don't pay attention to the names I read off. I remember that name. K. Shiloh Williams says, don't forget Samuel Whitmore, 78-year-old vet who went 3-0 against the Brits on the way back to Boston, survived being shot, bayoneted 12 times, clubbed, and left for dead. That's like freaking, that is legendary. That's like Rasputin. I was on the way down here, I was listening when you were just describing. I don't know the legend of Samuel Whitmore. Now I want to know more about Sam. I want to know a lot more about this guy. 78-year-old vet with 3-0. Survived being shot, bayoneted 12 times, clubbed. That's unbelievable. Now, the reason it reminds me of Rasputin, I was thinking about him because I was listening to like 70s music on the way down here. I'm not going to kid you. And the Rasputin song came on here, and I was thinking about how that dude, when the Russian elitists decided that they wanted to kill him, they stocked him full of more poison than you need to kill an elephant. Totally fine. Totally fine. Shot him. Boom, 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 boom. A whole bunch of people beating him up. He still keeps going. The guy apparently was like impossible to kill. So I have a feeling he wasn't quite nearly I shouldn't stain the legacy of Samuel Whitmore, who was an actual patriot and hero with the shyster con man of Rasputin. But you sort of have to like respect people who just are hard to kill. It's like, Boris the bullet dodger. It's pretty impressive. Thank you for sharing that with me, Kisha. Appreciate that greatly. You learn something new on this show every day. Even I do. That's why the only reason I come here is because I learn so much. You wouldn't think that. You wouldn't think that's the case, but that's why I'm here every day. I'm like, if I don't show up one day, I might miss something. So, yeah, that's why I'm the host. That's why. All right. I want to cover next Carmelo Anthony's family. Carmelo Anthony's family and the bizarre craziness. So Carmelo Anthony, Austin Metcalf, the victim of Carmelo Anthony. In case you're unfamiliar with this, with this case, there was this just a quick background here. Carmelo Anthony is a black man. We covered this story a little bit yesterday. We touched on it. He's a black youth who stabbed and killed a white high school football player when there was a rainstorm and he was in the wrong tent and they told him to leave. And when they told him to leave, he didn't want to leave. And the next thing you know, Carmelo pulls out a knife and kills the white guy. Carmelo claims it was self-defense. I think he's probably going to struggle with that defense because in order for you to have valid lethal force and self-defense, you have to be in imminent fear of death. Wow. Can you guys hear that? A little party going on upstairs. I don't know if you can hear that. I need better neighbors. It's actually my family upstairs. They're having a bit of a party upstairs. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Can you guys? Do you hear it? You do hear it. Oh, awesome, great. Just what I was hoping for. There's a real part. I'm missing it. I'm here because I need to learn with you guys. Yeah. Anyhow, so getting back to the Carmelo Anthony story. So he ends up pulling out a knife and killing them, claiming self-defense. In order to succeed in his self-defense claims, he's going to have to establish that he was in subjective and objective fear of death or serious bodily harm. It's a tough standard to meet. So he's probably going to struggle with that. And he's raised, I don't know, $900,000. Because basically there's an assumption by every woke idiot out there that the only reason he's being prosecuted for, murdering someone is because he's a black person who killed a white man. Because I can assure you and promise you that if the murderer was white and the kid was black, the family wouldn't have raised a nickel. They would have got nothing. But yeah, if you're a black murderer and you kill a white kid, and I don't happen to care about the race, even though I've talked about the racial compositions of both assailant or accused assailant and victim. You might think that race matters to me in this story. I don't give a slightest damn if it's a black on this side, a white on that side, 2 blacks, 2 whites, 2 yellow people. I don't care. 2 pink, 2 people who landed down from Venus and are rainbow colored. I don't care about that element of it, other than the fact that it plays a role in the way society has reacted to this story. Society seems to make a big deal about the racial composition of the parties to this case. So this is Carmelo Anthony's family had a presser today. And the victim's father, so the victim was Austin Metcalf, his dad showed up. And his dad has publicly expressed that he's forgiveness. So it's not like he's there being aggressive. So I don't even know if he's buried his son yet or not. I don't know if the funeral was held yet or not. I'm not sure. But likely not, I would think. So, and he's already forgiven this assailant. He shows up and gets thrown out. They throw him out of the press conference. Here's his family speaking on this.
And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family.
You jackass. You utter jackass. What was disrespectful about the victim? Who's the victim here? Disrespectful to come to a presser held by the family of his murderer, of his kid's murderer? That's disrespectful? You complete and total jackass, Dominique Alexander.
Uninvited, he knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family.
Look at
but
them.
He did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, your actions here are that of a complete and total ass clown.
Okay? What he has failed into is the political operatives that want to make this thing a political thing of hate, yet bigotry, and yet racism.
You complete and total ass clown. See, this was brewed by Barack Obama. We're still dealing with it, and we will be dealing with this for the foreseeable future. You talk about the riots that happened in Ferguson, where that guy had every opportunity to quell them, fly in there on his helicopter one or whatever they call his stupid helicopter, the president's helicopter, land in Ferguson, Missouri. And when BLM was first born and said, I got this, I'm president of the United States, I'll fix this problem. He didn't bother doing that. Instead, he let Ferguson burn to the ground, be looted beyond belief, and just let that stupid, ridiculous rioting and that stupid, completely asinine organization of BLM to flourish. The only reason it died the first time, people forget the reason it died the first time is because the public was outraged by some of the chants that they had, which was pigs in a blanket, fry 'em and bake 'em or something like that. They had these ridiculous, crazy takes. 4 years later, when BLM resurrects under the George Floyd saga, all of a sudden now it's okay to say all cops are bad. That wasn't in vogue when BLM first was born. But that's what the seedling ends up growing up into its sprouts, and ends up growing something bigger and bigger and bigger. And now we have some ass clown who's part of associated with the family of a murderer complaining that it's disrespectful for the victim's dad to show up at their press conference and claiming that it's racism for that. Unfriggin' believable.
We have conservative operatives that have been posting nonstop about this case. And all I'm going to say,
Unbelievable. Yeah, the only reason they care about this dead kid is because the assailant was black, right? Stupid. That's not the end of it. Let's hear from Carmelo Anthony's mom. She got words. She got a lot to say. She got lots to say.
In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Carmelo and the Metcalf boys,
Yeah, he killed him. That's what I think happened.
my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about.
And frankly, after Justice Smollett, I don't believe that happened. Where's the evidence of that? Where's the evidence? I agree with the sentiment in general. I agree with the sentiment in general that the family of a murderer should not be harassed by the public or any members of the public. And if you're thinking about doing that, I would say don't do it. You're a jerk if you do it. But I don't believe it happened. Just because we've had so many Jussie Smollett situations. Every time we hear about this crazy racism out there, turns out it never happened.
The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week,
What's been said
has been
about you?
overwhelming.
Tell us one thing. They're all victims. They're all biggest victims in the world. Send us more money because we're victims. I'm so tired of this victim mentality being rewarded by these stupid leftists. They breed more of it. They breed more of this whining of, I'm such a victim. You're the mother of a kid who brought a knife to school and used it to murder another kid. So you're the jerk here. You shouldn't be harassed, but you are the jerk here. And now you're sitting here talking about how you're such big victims. Send us more money because we're big victims so we can buy another Escalade and rent more mansions to live in.
Lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff. Our address and my husband's previous employer's address has been put on all social media platforms. My husband had to take a leave of absence because he's afraid what may happen to our family.
Yeah.
His mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats.
I'm going to tell you something. I ended last night's show. Last night, we had a banger of a show. So there were 2 different women addressing the public during the course of the show that I aired. I wasn't really thinking about comparing them to each other, but someone left a comment on my video afterwards drawing the comparison. And I was talking about Jennifer Vasquez and how she's crying about how she just wants to be able to tell her children that daddy's coming back home. She's the wife of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and how she wants to be able to share with them that, what day he's finally going to be coming home. And she's reading it. She's reading from a script. And then when you see that she actually filed a domestic violence report against him and got a restraining order against him back in 2021, and then she comes out here crying about how she's missing her husband, and you're sitting there and saying, oh yeah, well, she raised $220,000 by crying about this, so that's why that's a nice incentive. That's a nice incentive to say that, oh, our family life has been so utterly disrupted. Oh my gosh, we're in constant turmoil here. Reading from her stupid prepared statement. In stark contrast, I had to end the show without my normal fanfare because I was so gutted listening to the mother of Rachel Morin, who was a young lady who was brutalized before she was murdered by an illegal alien. And that illegal alien who was recently convicted for that vicious animal attack. And the mother got up in front of the White House press corps and spent 8 minutes talking from the heart about what she witnessed and learned about the facts of that case during the course of the trial, and how horrific it was, and how we have to get rid and clean America out from all these monsters who are roaming around. And it was so it was so gut-wrenching. I couldn't even really talk afterwards. I was like, what am I going to say? What do you say after you hear this woman? I wasn't expecting it. Someone had shared it with me. So I had watched it beforehand. And I was so gutted by it. I was like, I got to go. I'm done. I got nothing left. She's talking from the heart. Nothing was scripted there. And one of the people commented on my video, basically said, you see the difference? Basically, one is reading from a script. That's your grifter. That's your grifter right there, reading from a script. And the other one was just able to talk to you from the heart. No script. Sitting there. She's not a professional speaker as far as I know. And she's standing there addressing the entire White House corps for 8 minutes. Talking about the complete and total anguish that she's been suffering as a result of that monster who brutalized her daughter. That's the difference between real and fake. Let's come back to this mother of Carmelo Anthony reading her stupid prepared statement. Well, here come the water.
My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to.
Well, here we go.
His mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats. My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what may happen to her.
Why?
And let me be clear.
Why?
The claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. We have not received a single dime from the Give, Send, Go fundraiser. And the co-founder has stated that clearly.
Which you can find at givesendgo.com / Carmelo Anthony's family needs your money.
In the reality, we were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds. And it still takes several days to receive those funds once a request is made.
Unless we have it sent to us by wire transfer. She knows a lot. She knows a lot about those funds. She knows a lot about them, which you can find at givesendgo.com / Carmelo Anthony's family really needs your money now and much more of it. You cheap woke jackasses. I'm sorry. I don't believe the crocodile tears. I don't believe any of it. And she like paused, and all of a sudden, I don't believe a word of it. None of it. None of it. This is like watching Amber Heard on the stand.
I don't know why we are being targeted and discriminated against.
Discriminated by whom? What does that even mean? Who? Give names. You know, you've been doxxed. Why don't you dox the people who are threatening you? Why not do that? Do that. Call them out by name. Unless it never happened.
Before a fair trial, our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to. He's been raised in a two-parent home with structure, stability, love, and we put God first in everything that we do.
Yeah, except in how to teach a kid not to, carry knives to school. So I don't think, was God in that backpack? Was God there for that? I just want to know. You have the audacity to sit here pretending that you're mother of the year. Yeah. Yeah. With your stability. Your stability family.
We believe in the Constitution. We believe in the laws of this state. But those laws must apply to all of us, not just some of us.
Not just
clear.
We're victims of racism. The justice system is coming after us. The justice system is coming after us for murdering a kid. They're coming after us. See, that's the type of innuendo that she learned from Barack Obama. Because he wouldn't say you're racist. He's like, people who look a little different are entitled to some love also. And justice is not just for some of us. Some of us, you know which some of us I'm talking about, but all of us. There you go.
When I speak publicly about specific details of what happened under the tent on that rainy and awful day, there's an active investigation that everyone involved wants to be full and fair. We believe in legal process, and that is where the truth will come out. To the family who experienced the loss, my heart truly goes out to you.
I don't believe that for a second either. You wouldn't be throwing his father out of the press conference. You wouldn't. Why are you throwing him out? You should go over to him and give him a hug. That's what you would have done if you actually really cared about his suffering, about his genuine loss, rather than your manufactured crying about your loss. But instead, you threw him out. You threw him out. So why are you throwing him out if your heart really goes out to him? Why? Why would you be throwing him out?
To those who have supported my family, thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
And those who have not yet supported, you can go to givesendgo.com/Carmelo Anthony's family really needs another to make an extension on our house.
We ask for your continued support, patience, and prayers as we navigate this difficult process. Thank you.
Yeah. No. So, I don't know. Look, maybe she's sincere. I would love to see a body language expert break that down. I would love to see a body language expert break that down. So I am positive it would be shredded. I'm positive it would be shredded. Those of you who know Spidey, I should text Spidey right now. Where's my phone? I'm going to text Spidey. Say, can you please do a breakdown? You and your team of experts, do a breakdown of this as to how sincere she is. Do a breakdown. Because I'll tell you right now, I am positive a body language expert would shred that. I could be wrong. Look, sometimes the meter is off. It's possible. I'll, just to be clear, I'm obviously stating my opinion. These are not statements of fact. These are all statements of opinion. So I could be wrong. My opinion is that those are crocodile tears and that she doesn't give the slightest damn about the family. And I'm not even sure how much she cares about her own kid. I do think she cares a great deal about the Give, Send, Go. She seems to know a lot about how the payment operates on it. Wouldn't she be able to get her hands on her or a fat cash bag. Let's see how much that's at now. I'm sure it's over $1 million. Let me see if I can find this. Karmelo Anthony. Send. Oh wow, he's not doing nearly as well as I thought. I thought he was at 900,000, but I could have been getting confused with the house that was worth 900,000. So far, they've raised $471,000. So there you go. While legal defense is a critical part of this journey, I want to make clear that this fund is not solely dedicated to legal expenses. The funds raised will also support a range of urgent and necessary needs that have emerged as a result of the situation, including but not limited to the safe relocation of the Anthony family due to escalating threats to their safety and well-being, as well as basic living costs, transportation, counseling, and other security measures. So yeah. And we are the symbol. We're the new BLM. We're the symbol of resistance in the face of injustice. How do you know there's injustice? Where's the injustice? How do you know that there's an active investigation that you're hoping it comes to like an accurate conclusion? How do you know it's injustice? I'm way behind here. Bella Stella gifted. This is, in case you're unaware, Queen of Recruitment. Bella Stella gifting 5. Count them. 5 more. 5 more. 10 earlier, 5 more. We're keeping track here. We're keeping track. Let me see if I can still get it. I'm not sure if I can still get it. I might still get it. We'll see. It might jump on me. It might jump away. It might jump away. Did I get it? Bella. I didn't get it. I'm sorry. What about? Oh. No. I apologize. But those of you who are gifted courtesy of Bella Stella, Queen of Recruitment, please express your gratitude to her for that amazing gift of now that you have. You're kind of insulated from like anything terrible happening to you in the last 10 minutes. You're kind of insulated. So that's a side benefit that I can guarantee that like nothing terrible happened to you in the last 10 minutes. Not a money back guarantee. Not a money back guarantee. Next thing I know, I'm gonna have someone complaining that their dog died 10 minutes earlier. I'm like, oh man, that sucked. That didn't work out. But the fat electrician for the Whitmer story. Oh, for the Whitmer story, fat electrician. Now I'm really curious. Yeah, you all got me really. Shiloh got me really curious with this. Fat electrician. Whitmore. Man, I want to watch this now. He ain't that fat. Said 2 million views.
Products from supplements to treats to toys to dog poop picker upper bag.
Yeah, he's got a big channel here. All right, I'm gonna have to do that on my own time. I'm gonna have to do it, but thank you. I have it now. I have it now saved. Do I have it saved? Saved? I'm gonna save. Nope, not there. That's not working yet. We're gonna download. There you go. Okay. Thank you, Dick. Okay, Shiloh, the electrician did a great video on him. Served in 4 wars prior for the Brits. Then the intolerable acts kicked in, and Sam took that personally. I am definitely going to check that video out. I'm not going to do it now, but I will. Thank you guys both. Frank on Tim Pool Culture War tomorrow noon Eastern discussing this topic. Yes, he is talking about the Carmelo Anthony case tomorrow, 12 noon. I actually mentioned how I was called and invited. And then afterwards they said, oh, actually you would be debating against Andrew Bank on this. I had already said I couldn't do it, but I was like, yeah, I'm good. Argue self-defense with the guy who wrote the book on it. God is trying to get a hold of you. Knock, knock, apparently. So tell me I should wrap up my show quick. Yeah, Anthony, remember, for 10 months, says, yeah, apparently they bought a brand new house already and had to hire private security. I've heard mixed reports on this. I do want to clarify because I never want to be a source of misinformation, especially if I have reasons to question the information. I saw one claim that the Escalade was bought a year ago, not recently. And I do question how they could have used the money to get a premises so quickly. Even if they had the money, then maybe they borrowed against it. I don't know. But so I just want to be clear on that. I don't know that they yesterday I had shared with you reports to that effect. I do want to clarify that I don't know that was, she denies it, and she could be telling the truth about that the money came from other sources. So I want to be clear about that. This is something that is rumored, but not verified to my satisfaction. So I want to clarify that, where I understand why you would say this, Anthony, because a lot of people are saying this, and that's why she was addressing that and claiming it's not the case. I don't really trust her at all. I think that she's full of crap in a lot of different ways. But yeah, she's very, very upset. She's a very upset woman. Can't do that. Can't do that, Dick Barker. Watching your show post-op on both feet. Got enough hardware to give Lowe's a run for their money in 78 stitches. Thanks for being awesome, Joe. Oh, that's so kind of you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. CCOP made a no visitor exception. Senator Van Hollen had a meeting with Kilmar today. I plan on talking about that in my locals after party at goodlogic.locals.com. I mentioned that in the banner down below. Don't miss the locals after show party, breaking down the Fourth Circuit's insane decision on Kilmar Abrego. Should be Kilmar Abrego Garcia, right? That's his full name. But I do plan on talking about stupid Senator Chris Van Hollen, and going into real detail about that whole, like, all the developments of that. That's going to be in the locals after show. Last of mine. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate every bit of it. NY Renal ND says maybe the victim's dad was looking for closure and turned it into a positive situation. They're trying to portray themselves as victims. It's incredible. And that's why I say, if you really had a heart and were worried about them, she would have gone over to them and given them a hug. That's a genuine emotion. That's a genuine emotion. If she was really feeling, she really cares about the family of the victims and her heart going out to them. Why would your heart go out to them and you throw them out? Why would that happen? And if she wasn't involved in the removal of the dad, which is very possible, I don't know. I wasn't there. Maybe she didn't know about it. When you find out about it, bring him back in. Bring him back in. Come in. Give him a hug. Tell him, we're so sorry that the way this tragedy must be affecting you. That's a human thing. That's what you do. It's another reason I think she's just another grifter. So they're reading from her stupid prepared statement, giving all sorts of weird screaming outs at moments that didn't really feel. It felt forced to me. It felt forced. Bowtie man in the back, Malcolm X Black. I don't know. I noticed him also. This is the future press conference for Letitia James. Oh my God, we need those charges to drop. Oh, not just an investigation, not just a referral. No, I want to see real freaking charges. Body language, we need baseline. Since she's not a public figure, it'd be hard to evaluate her body language. Oh, sometimes they can get the body language in the first 30 seconds and get some sort of baseline. If your internet way back, that gives send go better to not include that start. They added that after accusations of fund abuse. Likely so. Darkborn, Patrick Tristan is great storytelling. He's a big history buff. He makes history fun to learn. Cool. I referenced it as a rental. I don't think they own it. Also, $470,000 wouldn't be enough to buy it. So, who is actually in charge of the Give, Send, Go? So they gave a name there that the money's going to. It says here campaign funds are going to Kayla Hayes. I assume that's who we just heard from. I assume that's who we heard from. I don't know. NY Reno ND on bond. How is Anthony staying in a house outside the county? Sus. There's a lot of things that are sus. A lot of things about this family that's very sus. I don't trust them. I don't trust them at all. I really don't. And by the way, I didn't get a chance to watch that clip until just now. You were seeing my first reaction to it. You were seeing my very first reaction to it. Let's get into this. I really want to get in on, before I get to Ukraine, let's talk about King Charles III. I'm going to need your help on this. And that's why I really want to spend a little bit of time talking about this. Master Phillips, a year old. King of recruitment, right here. One year, the king of recruitment, right here. I can't tell you how many followers he's brought into the following. Hundreds, as well as our queen of recruitment. Each of them have well earned the titles. So, yeah, God bless you. God bless you, Master Phillips. And hopefully we'll spend many more years together. So, where were we at here? Oh, one last one here. They have large tax liability if it was not going directly to layer escrow account. IRS can be, well, it can be. All right. Let's talk about King Charles. King Charles III. So this is one of the messages. This is part of what we got. Ahead of this year's Maundy service at Durham Cathedral, the King has shared an Easter message to all who celebrate. Read His Majesty's message in full on royaluk.news. And the message here is, the abiding message of Easter is that God so loved the world, the whole world, that He sent His Son to live amongst us to show us how to love one another and lay down His own life for others in a love that proves stronger than death. Obviously, this is consistent with basic Christian theology. There are three virtues that the world still needs: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. It is with these timeless truths in mind and my heart that I wish you all a blessed and peaceful Easter. Okay. That's, you see that? It doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with this message at all, right? That's not what has people upset. I haven't read the full message. Should we read the full message? How long is the full message? Yeah, I'm getting cookies. Let's read his full message. So we have full context here. One of the puzzles of our humanity is how we are capable of both great cruelty and great kindness. This paradox of human life runs through the Easter story and the scenes that daily come before our eyes. At one moment, terrible images of human suffering, and in another, heroic acts of war-torn countries where humanitarians of every kind risk their own lives to protect the lives of others. A few weeks ago, I met many such people at a reception in Buckingham Palace and felt a profound sense of admiration for their resilience, courage, and compassion. On Monday, Thursday, Jesus knelt and washed the feet of many of those who would abandon him. His humble belief was a token of his love that knew no bounds or boundaries and is central to Christian belief. The love he showed when he walked the earth reflected the Jewish ethic of caring for the stranger and those in need, a deep human instinct echoed in Islam and other religious traditions and in the hearts of all who seek the good of others. This is the part that has folks outraged. This paragraph right here. The love he showed when he walked the earth reflected the Jewish ethic of caring for the stranger and those in need, a deep human instinct echoed in Islam and other religious traditions, and in the hearts of all who seek the good of others. When I first read this, I didn't understand the outrage. But outrage there was. Outrage there was. The first person I saw express that outrage was this right here. King Charles III even managed to make his Easter message about Islam. The man is a disgrace and needs to abdicate or be deposed. So I don't even know who this guy is. 425,000 followers. Prince Calvin Robinson. So he's not, a nobody, that's for sure. I need to hear from you guys. Do you think that this is making it about Islam? If you look at the entire message, well, look at the rest of the message that he wrote there, because I think we read the last part. Yeah, this is the part we read earlier. So do you think this is making a message about Islam? Do you think this is disrespecting Christianity? Or not? Is it Friar Calvin Robinson? Is that what that stands? I don't know what the F are. I apologize for my ignorance. I don't know. But what is the deal here? It is. He's right. Uneducated. All right. So the love he showed when he walked the earth reflected the Jewish ethic of caring for the stranger and those in need, a deep human instinct echoed in Islam and other religious traditions. I'm not trying to offend anyone at all, but I do want, you're saying he's a Calvinist? That's what it's saying? Okay. I get that. So when I was trying to understand that, when I was trying to understand the outrage that's being expressed, I started thinking like, yeah, someone took a serious Jewish holiday and started wrapping it into other religions, I would be annoyed by it. I think I definitely would be annoyed by it, because I would feel like you're twisting. But I wouldn't be surprised, because this inclusiveness, which is part of the DEI culture, is and I'm not. I really want to. I want to hear from you. All right. Love when King is concerned about war-torn crimes. May I remind him of his heritage, where he subjugated nations with much lives given. This is true. This is true. Let me check over in the ghetto. I'm looking in the ghetto. I'm going to look in the ghetto. Oh, Johnny Reb, share with me. Thank you. Samuel Whitmore, American Badass. Link. Thank you much, brother. Appreciate that. I missed earlier. Denise said, good evening. I'm late, but I'm here. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to stay awake, though. I'm usually in bed by 7 p.m., but I have tomorrow off, so I'm going to try and watch the whole show. Woohoo! Zellian said, can we give the spokesperson, referring to that Dominique, I think Alexander was his last name, the death penalty for being such a fraudster and schmuck? He keeps changing his organization name to dodge taxes. Not surprised. Not surprised at all. I'm going to take a moment because I don't want to miss this later. Linz, welcome. A new member of the following. Welcome to the following, Linz. God bless you. I hope that the following ends up fulfilling on its promise for you for a greater life, where you experience greater personal growth. And right now, we happen to be in the midst of a topic which I think is helpful for personal growth, which is to sort of understand where someone may be causing offense. I don't think his intent was to cause offense. I don't think that was his intent. That doesn't mean he didn't completely mangle his message. So person in chat number 6 says, looks like placating, perhaps to Islamists in UK. He could have simply said other religious traditions. The placating is offensive, not the target. Easter is about the death and resurrection of Jesus, while Islam does not believe in his deity. Trying to tie Christianity and Islam isn't new, and it's offensive to Christians. So from what I understand, Muslims will look at Jesus as a prophet. But I agree with you, they don't. There's a difference between referring to him as a prophet and recognizing him the way Christians do as being a deity. So I can understand that. I would love if he left out the Islam part and just referenced the Jewish ethic of caring for the stranger and those in need. Would that still be offensive? Because technically, I mean, Jesus was Jewish, right? I mean, he ended up being the center of Christianity, but during his life, as I understand it, he was. I think Christians would say that he was Jewish. You would think that. So that's why I'm trying to figure out. I can understand that. Bringing in Islam, which Islam wasn't created until 500 years. Muhammad didn't come along and introduce Islam to the world till 500 years after Jesus was gone. So, or thereabouts. So, saying that he was reflecting Jewish ethics, I'm wondering if that's considered offensive because obviously Jews don't believe in Jesus. So I'm wondering if that's offensive, or is it because he was Jewish and saying he's reflecting the ethics of his heritage, whether that is also offensive because it's trying to placate Jews. And I can understand that argument. I can definitely understand that. Like I said, whenever someone tries taking a holiday, right now is the holiday of Passover. Someone tries taking the holiday of Passover and tries making it about how this is consistent with Buddhist perspectives or Christian or Muslim perspective. I'd be pissed off. Now, if it's a nobody who's saying it, I'd just be like, all right, the guy's just a jackass. Someone who plays a central role, a real figurehead, in a way that the King of England is, I can understand that being that much more offensive. I get that. But I am wondering whether if he had left out the Muslim part, I think I would agree that that's almost genuflecting to the new constituency that are now in the mass migration that has happened into England over the last 15 years or so, and trying to placate them. But I am curious about that. It's equivocation. Christianity focuses on faith, hope, and love as cardinal virtues. It's not the same about other religions. It's not a founding principle. Well, I'll tell you this. When it comes to Judaism, it's not faith and hope and love that faith is essential tenet. It's belief in monotheism is actually one of the 13 cardinal mandatory. There are 13 beliefs which we recite on the daily, which are central tenets of Judaism. One of them being, belief in one God. So and that that nothing came before him, nothing will come after him. So that is a central theme in Judaism. And there's a famous story about a rabbinic figure who lived around 2,000 years ago named Hillel. And that when someone came to him and asked him, a potential convert said that he wants him to teach him Torah while he stands on one foot. There's a famous story. There's a famous story about this potential convert who came to two different leading rabbinic authorities of the time. And he said, teach me all Torah while I'm standing on one foot. The first one he went to was, and these two rabbinic authorities argued about Jewish law in like dozens, if not 100 different scenarios, countless scenarios. They're basically two schools of thought that were going on at the same time. One of them was Shammai, the other was Hillel. And Shammai was always known to be more rigid, and Hillel was this is talking very generally, more relaxed. So when he came to Shammai and said, teach me all Torah while I'm standing on one foot, Shammai threw him out. He said, get out of here. He thought that he was like making a mockery of Torah. When he came to Hillel, and Hillel said to him this phrase, which is, V'ahavta l'recha kamocha, you shall love your neighbor as yourself, and everything else is just an expansion on that central precept, which was a fascinating way of looking at Torah. So when you talk about as far as, faith, hope, and love as cardinal virtues, so the way Hillel, who remains to this day and will be for the rest of time, regarded by Orthodox Jews as being a brilliant and a very important rabbinic figure in Jewish history, that he basically says that is what Torah is, that concept of loving your neighbor as you love yourself, and that everything else is an extension. Everything else, like celebrating Passover, it's an extension of that. Everything. Sabbath, extension of that. Not eating milk and meat, somehow it's an extension of that. I can't walk you through how it's an extension of that. I'm not going to kid you. Like what he meant by that, I can't begin to express. Well, the milk and meat thing, I think I might be able to, perhaps. I don't know, but I'm not going to go down that road. The point that I'm making is it is a central tenet in Judaism, and to be fair, my father, who, as I've mentioned many times, has a doctorate in medieval Christian-Muslim relations, he has made the point that Muslims, when they invite someone into their home, will kill themselves to make sure that person is comfortable, and that it would be considered a grave violation of faith, even if you invite your enemy into your home, to treat him as anything more than a revered guest. So there is certain elements to Islam, despite the fundamental. I understand that some of the fundamentalists there are widely regarded as being bloodthirsty and working very, very hard to prove that is what Islam is. I'm simply saying that, it's not there. I can understand how someone would make that claim about Islam by cherry picking certain elements of the faith in order to basically make it seem as if that's what the entire faith is about. So when you now have the King of England coming out and tying in these themes and saying these themes resonate in other religions as well, I understand why it's offensive, because why the hell are you taking this purely Christian holiday and try and make it like expansionist for everyone? It seems like a classic DEI woke crap of let's make everyone inclusive in the holiday of Easter. I get that. Like I said, if someone does that about a Jewish holiday and someone who's an important person or regarded as an important person, it would piss the hell out of me. When I saw Kamala Harris get up there with her stupid husband, Doug Emhoff, and start lighting menorah. I was like, F off. So I get it. I totally get it. Especially because I looked at it, I was like, yeah, the whole Hanukkah message is basically stay true to your faith, don't intermarry. And this jack off, Doug Emhoff, who intermarried, is now sitting here making a whole public spectacle of the menorah. So yeah, that pissed me off. So I guess I do get it. But I am wondering as far as like, you know, the messaging behind can you hear the singing? Because I can through my headphones. It sounds nice. Karen J. Becoming a new welcome to the following, Karen J. God bless you. He understands his audience. UK is no longer a Christian nation. Islam has taken over. He likes to remain king. So you think he's placating for political reasons and basically pissing all over Christianity in the process. That would make me even angrier. That's true. I think part of what made me upset was I was like, you're using, when I'm thinking to the Kamala Harris, Doug Emhoff thing, it's like you're trying to ingratiate yourself with Jews with something that's a bastardization of everything Jewish. So, yeah. This is the reason I had this conversation is because I'm literally I want to hear the feedback from you guys is awesome as far as helping me like think through myself on this topic. Simple pandering, nothing more, just typical tone deaf ass kissing. All right. Uzana says, Joe, also remember he isn't just king of England, but the head of the Church of England. So this is something I hadn't thought about. But that is a very important element. Yeah, that does make it much worse. That makes it much freaking worse. I think I had heard that before, but I'd forgotten it. That is a big deal. That actually makes it a very big deal. Because if it's, okay, now, see, I'm so glad you said this, Uzellian, because this is really helping me better understand this. This is now better helping. This is helping me much better understand this. I did a show. I want to say 2 years ago now, where I went through a thread on what was then still Twitter that some Reform rabbi had made, where he was claiming that transgenderism is embraced by Torah. And he took various passages from Torah and said, see, this is implying inclusivity, and this is reference to trans, and this historical figure was trans, and this is, and Adam was trans, and everyone was trans. This is what, and I was like, you're literally bastardizing, perverting, and destroying everything and twisting things in ways that are gross and disgusting. That I was like, I actually introduced my audience to the term toeva, which means twisted. You in English, it gets translated as abomination, the word toeva, but it doesn't mean abomination. It's a terrible, terrible, lousy, useless definition of the word toeva in Hebrew, the word toeva. In all the English translations, that's whenever you hear that this is, you read a passage from Torah in English and it says, do not lie down with the man, for this is an abomination, or don't lie down with your, in committing incest is an abomination. That's how it's all translated. But the actual original word in Hebrew is toeva. And toeva doesn't mean abomination. I don't even know what the word abomination really means, other than super bad. I think people take the word abomination as something that's super bad. And that's definitely not what toeva means. Toeva means twisted in a way that is destroying the fabric of everything. Because when you twist, if you take a wire and you bend that wire, you twist it, you are thereby making it forever crooked. You can never, ever make it perfectly straight again. So what they'll do is when they talk about something that is the reason those things are all listed as I've heard this from rabbinic authority. The reason why all of the things that are listed as being an abomination, or not abomination, but toeva, is because you take something healthy and twist it, where you sort of just change it a little bit, where it's no longer healthy. It's actually very self-destructive. And there's evidence to this, because one of the things that you never hear about, even if you study Torah, in Bible class and you go for years, one of the things you'll almost never hear anyone talk about that's defined as being toeva, which I'm sure says abomination, is someone who uses misleading weights when they're selling they're selling product like grain. So you take a 1.8 pound weight and you write on it 2 pounds, and then you go, when they would sell, the way they would sell products, and before we had Amazon, so you would go into a store and you say, okay, I want 2 pounds of flour, and they would have a set weight there. And what they would do is they would just sort of steal a little bit at a time from everyone, a seemingly negligible amount. It probably wouldn't even be 1.8 pounds. It would be 1.94 pounds, but they'd intentionally underweight it so that every time that the purchaser doesn't notice that they're getting less than what they're paid for. And they're twisting it just slightly so that it's not really noticeable. And there's not much for you to complain about. What do you care? You lost 5 cents. But they steal from the entire public 5 cents, 5 cents, 5 cents, 5 cents, 5 cents, 5 cents over and over again to rip off the public. That is called toeva. That's perversion. It's a twisting of truth, of reality. Same thing with incest, right? You can say that, well, it's a healthy thing. If you love your family member, and the way it's certainly Western culture today refers to sex as being an expression of love, which is not really what it is, but they basically have been pounding that message home. So if you just twist slightly and say, well, if you really love your family, so in that case, that's what you should be doing. It's twisting what reality is. It's twisting morality in a way that it becomes impossible to set straight once that becomes an accepted practice, that becomes an accepted thing. This is not super bad. This is twisting and perversion. So I can understand. So I think one of the most loudest rants I ever gave in my life on this channel, I was losing it and screaming at this rabbi who I'm sure knows less Torah than my 10-year-old daughter. Sorry, 11-year-old. She just had a birthday last week. And sitting there trying to twist this part of Torah, this passage and that passage and this thing to try and give license, not license, no, nay, not mere license, endorsement from Torah for this twisted, ridiculous trans crap. And now he's trying to say that this is all has its origins in Torah. This made me furious. Like, I was losing it. Like, this guy calls himself, he hides under the umbrella of like, oh, I went to some online course and I got some degree and now I'm a rabbi. And let me tell you what Rabbi Moses Weiss, and I just made that name up, I don't think that's the real name, has to tell you about how Torah supports. And I'm just like, you are toeva. You're twisting. You're twisting to cover this, and I lost it. I was losing it for like a solid 45 minutes, where I was screaming into my microphone as I went like through his thread, one thing after another. I was hoarse by the time I was done screaming about how twisted this guy was, and I remember feeling really outraged because I felt it was such a perversion from someone who's sitting here cloaking himself as if he's knowledgeable, as if he's enlightening people. And I was like, this very act you're doing is toeva. What you're twisting and perverting Torah to suit your stupid, twisted agenda. It's Toeva on Toeva. The reason I bring this up in this context is because I'm very happy Uzelian pointed out that he's considered the head of the Church of England. Because now I feel as if I really understand this. Now I understand this post so much better now. King Charles III even managed to make an Eastern message about Islam. This man is disgraced and needs to be advocated, be deposed. Now I get it. You're the head of the Church of England, and you take what is arguably, if not it's not arguably, it's certainly one of the two holiest days in Christian faith, if not the holiest day in Christian faith. And you now turn this into something that is about Judaism or Islam or any other religion. And you're sitting here placating as the head of the Church of England and try and make it as if that's what this faith is all about. Yeah, I get it now. I get it. Because I know the outrage I felt. I know the outrage I felt when some nobody supposed rabbi was twisting Torah. I know the genuine rage I felt. Now to hear that the King of England, who's also the head of the Church of England, is twisting Easter like this, I get it. You should be skewering him. He should be skewered. Yeah, I get everything about this post. See, this is why I wanted to have this conversation. You guys are invaluable. Yeah, no. Yeah. King Charles is an asshole. Yeah. Okay. Now I get it. I'm so glad I had this lengthy conversation because I want to be able to understand. I saw this and I was really confused, and then I thought about it and I was like, okay, I could see how that's a little bit offensive, but now putting it in its full context, I'm like, yeah, you should. If I was Christian, I would want to punch his lights out. Yeah, I get it. Well done. See, this is why I turn to you. You all think that, like, when I talk about how the following is about, greater personal growth, and I don't just say it. I really mean it. Like, I think I pride myself that this show and this channel is about helping us better learn and understand and see things through different perspectives. And I feel as if I just greatly benefited myself, and it's all courtesy to you guys right here. So I say thank you. Thank you very much. That was really, I got it. I totally got it. Now I totally get it. Can we get our show friend from Dearborn, Michigan to ask what he thinks of this message? No. Joe, are you offended that as a Christian I put red over my door for Passover? Also, Jesus was a Jew, not offended at mentioning Jewish faith. Oh, I don't care if someone does that. If someone put blood over their doorpost, first of all, we don't even do that anymore. I mean, we not anymore. It was a one-time thing. Just that year when they were in Egypt, it was for a specific reason. So no, Jews don't do that. If someone wanted to do that, I would probably laugh. But your point is still taken. Thank you, Joe. This is. I was really curious. I wanted to learn. I wanted to understand, and I feel enlightened. More context: people angry in the UK might be that the British monarch is the supreme governor of the Church of England, so not just the king. Yep. That's right. And so you basically hit on the same point Uzelian did, and this is the key. This is so key. Abomination equals shikuts, but we won't discuss its derivatives. Yeah. I don't think that's abomination either, by the way. I think you have the wrong. I don't think there's a word for abomination in Hebrew. I don't think that is a. But yeah. All right. Let's talk about what's happening in Ukraine. Things happening on the Ukraine side. First, you have this clown here. You got this clown. Let me see where I'm at over here. It's 11:51. Okay. All right. Okay. I want to see where we're at on our goal. Okay. Good. All right. If the Pope said this, I'd be outraged. I didn't vote for the king, so I don't care. Aquatic tarts tossing scimitars is no way to form a government. Scimitars. I'm not familiar with that word. It's not every day I get a super chat which has a word that I don't know. Now I gotta look this one up. Scimitar. Short sword with a curved blade that broadens toward the point used originally in Eastern countries. Wow. All right, more enlightenment for everyone here. Scimitar. It's a scimitar. I think it's pronounced scimitar. Look at that. It's like what you picture like Middle Eastern swords. You picture like roving bands of Muslims carrying swords like that. But I guess you can also picture shogun. Good word there. Well done, Joe. Scimitar. Look at that thing. All right. Let's get into our last topic here, and that is Ukraine. Let's hear first from Winnie Zelensky.
Ваша позиція, мабуть, ви чули заяву Вітхофа після його перемовин із Путіним. Він заявив, що начебто розглядається угода про 5 територій українських. Що ви про це знаєте? На що ми реально готові піти в цьому плані? І наскільки далеко ми зараз від угоди про всеосяжне перемир'я? Дякую.
Great question.
Дякую. Як я вам і сказав, ми сьогодні обговорюємо безумовне припинення вогню. І до припинення вогню ми не обговорюємо територію. Ви знаєте моє ставлення і які у нас червоні лінії. Ми ніколи не будемо визнавати ті чи інші наші тимчасово окуповані території, українські землі, визнавати російські. Третє, вважаю, що пан Вітков прийняв для себе стратегію російської сторони. Вважаю, що вона дуже небезпечна, тому що він свідомо або несвідомо, я не знаю, розповсюджує російські наративи. В будь-якому випадку це не допомагає. І я не бачу в нього мандата обговорювати українські території, бо території нашим людям належать нашому народові і не тільки нам, а майбутнім українцям. Тому взагалі не розумію, про що він говорить.
Full of crap. Oh my God.
Ми все це чули, але ми все це чули як бред пана Путіна. Я не думав, що у нього є відповідні люди, які продовжують ці наративи, розповсюджують і в інших цивілізованих країнах. Тому я серйозно до цього не ставлюся.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I have no words. I have no words. Yeah. Okay, so for those of you who don't speak Ukrainian, as I do not either, I have no idea what he just said. No, I didn't vet that audio first. Oh God. Oh God. Yeah. It sounded good, right? It sounded really good. Come on. You all thought all right. But apparently he said Wickoff adopted the Russian side strategies. That's referring American. Clearly, America is not an impartial broker in this matter. They're playing the role of Qatar in the Israel-Hamas negotiations. Ukraine should not accept this. So he's all mad, saying that we're taking Russia's side. That's essentially what I got from when I saw this. I was sure this was going to be translated into English, even when the question came out, and I was like, "Oh, great question." All right. Beautiful singing. Okay, so yeah, I don't think I agree with this. I agree with our newest member says I agree with this 100%. This guy is 100% in it for the war. He doesn't care about Ukrainians, and you're going to see that now. You're going to see that in just a moment. First, let's have this. Here's Trump weighing in on Zelensky, who doesn't seem very happy with him.
I don't hold Zelensky responsible, but I'm not exactly thrilled with the fact that that war started. That was a war that would have never started if I were president. You'd have millions of people living right now that are dead. You'd have cities that would be open and thriving and that have their beautiful turrets. Those turrets are the most beautiful in the world, but they're not with us any longer. They're smashed to smithereens, laying on the ground in a million pieces, getting hit by rockets, bombs, and bullets. And so I'm not happy with him, and I'm not happy with anybody involved. I think it's a war. I know it's a war. It didn't happen for 4 years. It was never close to happening. It was never even a thought. And I spoke to President Putin about it a lot. It was the apple of his eye, but there's no way he would have ever gone in if I were president. Now I'm trying to get him to stop because, as you know, Russia's a lot bigger. It's a bigger military force. And if you're smart, you don't go involved and get involved in
with a bigger military force.
You can blame them.
And you certainly try to sue for peace, not start making with insane demands.
That was sitting in this seat, Biden, he didn't know what the hell was going on. But I can guarantee you that, and everybody agrees to it, if I were president, that war would have never taken place. I'm not blaming him. But what I am saying is that I wouldn't say he's done the greatest job. Okay.
Zelensky.
I'm not a big fan. I really am. I'm not a big fan.
That's his words about Zelensky. So Zelensky is now going to go crying to the world about how America is taking Russia's side, because that's what this grifter does. And he is the greatest grifter we've ever seen. I defy you to find a better grifter than Vladimir Zelensky. And this is how much he cares about I don't know if I can show this. Can I show this? I can't show this. Damn, I didn't think about this. I can't. You're not allowed to show on a live stream people shooting guns. It's like a one-way ticket to terribleness. Let me see.
In Ukraine, kids as young as 10 are getting combat ready. As fighting with Russia drags on, secret military camps across...
They're showing little kids firing guns and practicing firing weapons here. I cannot show it to you on YouTube. Maybe I'll try to share it. If I remember, I'll try to share it on Locals afterwards. It's one of the things I'll throw into Locals is this video where they're showing little Ukrainian kids who are as young as 10 years old, now being trained to fight the war against the Russians.
The country are teaching kids the art of war, including how to shoot pistols.
I will show you this, just so you get a picture. I can't show her firing the gun.
Teaching kids the art of war, including how to shoot pistols, rifles, and even machine.
Oh, I can't. Oh, whew, that was close. Okay, I'm not going to play. I'm not going to play any further with this. So I'm not going to show you this. I can't show it to you. You see, you get a feel for how young these kids are. This is like I guess they're out of 17-year-olds. They're out of anyone in fighting shape between like 17 and 60. So let's go down to the 10-year-olds and basically put them in a meat grinder against the Red Army. That's Zelensky's plan. That's Zelensky's plan.
Ingen.
Я знаю, я не боюся. Я вже була і поранена.
I'm not afraid. I've been injured before and I've gotten over it. Maria, 10 years old. Look at this. What, she thinks she's playing war?
Я знаю, я не боюся. Я вже була і пораненою, і витягувала.
This is who they're sending to fight the Red Army. No, don't worry. She gets shot. She'll have like another life. Of course, that's what she thinks.
І все робила.
Ukrainians realize the war may continue for many years.
I mean, this is insanity. This is insanity. This is insanity.
They want to be prepared. Today's children may just be tomorrow's soldiers. The camps take that idea to heart with a rigorous schedule.
The hardest part is
I'm really scared because if you see one bullet flying, YouTube is going to rain down on me with I know them. They're going to kill me.
Physical exercises at 6 a.m.
Look at these. This guy talking now is Marker. He's 14 years old.
Because you go to bed at 2 a.m. and you sleep 4 hours, you need to run 3 circles, do some push-ups, some exercises, and then all day you won't sleep, won't eat.
But not all Ukrainians think these camps are a good idea. They say kids should be kids, not trained as soldiers for future battles.
Деякі батьки бояться віддавати нам дітей, тому що вони думають, що відразу після цього вони підуть там у військ.
Saying they think that immediately after the camp they'll go to the army. We just teach them to defend themselves.
Не вбивати і не готуємо з них військовими. Ми вчимо їх захищати.
We teach them some discipline that will help them survive in a war.
Вчимо їх таким дисциплінам, які допоможуть їм вижити в умовах війни.
But that doesn't mean some of these kids don't plan on enlisting when they are of age. This 14-year-old plans to join the fight when she turns 18.
Trust me, that age is going to come down soon.
I think I'm the little girl. I can be a fighter.
This is Nina. She's 14 years old.
And be a soldier, and I'm just saying I will get killed for my country. I will get injured for my.
Oh no, you can't see anything. Okay. Well, listen to this. This is insanity.
Country, and it's the choices I've made. They just don't understand it.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Craziness. Yeah. Some of the comments on this. Are children being trained to die for what? The interests of the West? Recruiting children under 15 into armed forces or groups is considered a war crime under the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court. Also, the Child Soldiers Prevention Act, enacted in 2008, prohibits the U.S. from providing military assistance to governments that recruit child soldiers. The CSPA also allows the prosecution of individuals who knowingly recruit to use child soldiers. If Russia did this, you call indoctrination. If ISIS did this, you'd call terrorism. But Ukraine does it, and suddenly it's bravery. Army children isn't heroism. It's collapse with a PR team. Yeah. So these Ukrainians who think that they're winning the war, the audacity of them to actually, these Ukrainians, they're positive. Oh, we're totally winning the, yeah. We just happen to be like training 10-year-olds. We're training 10-year-olds. And what happens when they, let's go to the 7-year-olds next. Start training 7-year-olds. Yeah. So, no, I don't think this guy has any intention of ending the war anytime soon. And yeah, I think this guy's a monster. I think he's a terrible, terrible human being. Terrible, terrible human being. All right. I have a lot to tell you about Senator Chris Van Hollen and his visit to Kilmar Abrego Garcia and the Fourth Circuit decision and how bizarre it was and different takes. And there's a lot of different legal analysis that you can do about what the Supreme Court said in this case and the wildly disparate legal conclusions as far as how to read a decision from a court. And then also share with you what we can from Van Hollen meeting with Kilmar Abrego Garcia. It doesn't seem like he's in a CCOT prison, but yeah, maybe he is. They let him out for this. I don't know. But this is all going to happen in locals in roughly 7 minutes. I'm going to set up the stream, start that up. The links are in the description. They're pinned to the chat. I'm not sure if it's in the description. Let me make sure it's in the description. It's not in the Rumble description. Let me put it in now. All right, now I pinned it to the top of the description in Rumble, so you can see it there now. It's in the description in YouTube. It's in the description in Rumble. It's pinned to the chat in YouTube and Rumble. You can head on over there. I'll probably start the stream by actually watching that on locals, that which I couldn't show you on YouTube. And then we're going to get into the whole Kilmar Abrego Garcia story and all this, the crazy decision that came out today. It's not a long decision. It's only like 3 or 4 pages, but bizarre. And the different legal conclusions, which even on the right side of the aisle, there's disagreement about whether or not Trump has been properly compliant. We're going to break down those, and I'll give you my thoughts on that. All of that is coming up in the Locals After Party, which is goodlogic.locals.com, goodlogic.locals.com. You definitely don't want to miss that. One old guy says, those kids are saying it's because in 2014, the CIA overthrew the duly elected Ukrainian government, installing an effete actor as president, paving the way for this current war. 100% true. The Maidan uprising was completely under American control. Kinney said, the love he showed when he walked the earth, quote, reflected God's ethic, not Jew, Christian, or Islam. The king is the head of the Church of England. Well said. Well said indeed. Let me do another quick check, make sure I didn't miss anything in the ghetto. Tomorrow, I'm going to be streaming my appearance on Layback Law. As I understand it, I'll just give you a heads up. You can think it's a good thing. You can think it's a terrible thing. I will give you a heads up that I think Pisco is going to be on the panel. You can anticipate that we will be arguing probably about this Kilmar Abrego Garcia thing, amongst others. So he's supposed to be on, I think he's making his debut on Layback Law. So that's probably going to have some fireworks. And I restream that over here only on YouTube, not on Rumble, because I can't restream to Rumble. They don't let me restream to Rumble. I would, but they don't let me restream it. But I do restream it to YouTube. So that's going to be on YouTube tomorrow starting at noon. And right now, it's time for us to head and dance on over to Locals. I will see you all over there. Those of you who don't manage to make the journey, I'll miss you. Miss you terribly. Like you'll see me laughing. You'll see me smiling, having a great time. But know this. Inside, it's tears of a clown. That's what it is. It's tears of a clown. It's because your absence hurts. So if you try to make it over there, just for a little bit, test the waters. Water's warm, it's all fine. That's gonna be over at Locals. That's supposed to be starting at 12:15. I'm gonna do everything I can to start 12:15 sharp. So click the link and I'll see you all there. Lab meat is not for you. It's not for you. It's for they, them. Yeah, that's right. Plane's coming down. Put your trays in the upright lock position. Fasten your seatbelt. It's coming in pretty quick. Don't eat the bugs. Do not eat the bugs. Those of you who I'm not going to see over there, have a good night and Godspeed.